There are moments in time when the very air seems to tremble with divine urgency. Moments when heaven leans over the balcony of eternity and marks a day with fire. Chosen ones, I speak with the weight of eternity on my shoulders. There are dates that are not written merely in ink on man's calendar, but carved in glory upon heaven's scrolls. These are not ordinary days. These are not casual days. These are days when destinies turn, when the heavens are opened, when angels are dispatched, and when the voice of God calls his people into alignment. September 25th is one of those days. It is not just another square on the calendar, not just another sunrise and sunset. It is a divine appointment, a holy visitation, a day when obedience and sensitivity to the Spirit determine the difference between breakthrough and loss, between rising into destiny or stumbling into delay. Hear me, chosen ones. When God marks a day, it carries the weight of eternity. It is as if all of heaven is watching, waiting to see who will hear, who will recognize, who will respond. On such days, your actions echo beyond time. They echo in eternity. To miss such a day is not a small thing. It is to miss the very hour when God has written your breakthrough into history. It is to step away from the table he has prepared, leaving blessings unclaimed, promises unfulfilled, and victories unseized. September 25th is not man's idea, it is heaven's decree. To ignore it is to play with destiny, to despise your own inheritance, to risk everything that has been promised to you. There are moments when God himself comes walking through the garden of your life, calling out as he did to Adam, where are you? Imagine missing the sound of his footsteps. Imagine missing his call. Chosen ones, September 25th is such a moment. The Lord will come walking through the timeline of your life, looking for your obedience, searching for your faith, testing your readiness. And if you are found missing, if you are distracted, if you are careless, the day will pass, and with it, promises that may never return. There are hours when God says, this is the time. And when that time is gone, it does not wait, it does not pause, it does not circle back. Heaven moves forward. September 25 is such an hour, a day heavy with destiny. This is not a message for the casual believer. This is not for those who treat the things of God lightly. This is a trumpet blast to the chosen, a prophetic cry to those whose ears are tuned to the heartbeat of heaven. You must understand, God is not bound by man's schedules. He is not dictated to by earthly routines. He operates on his own calendar, his own timing, his own appointments. And when he says, this is the day, every power in heaven moves in alignment. The question is, will you? On September 25th, the Spirit of the Lord will draw a line between those who are awake and those who slumber, between those who are prepared and those who are distracted, between those who seize the moment and those who let it slip through their fingers. This is why the urgency is so fierce, why the warning comes with such weight. Missing September 25 is not like missing a meeting, not like skipping a meal, not like postponing an errand. It is missing the very visitation of God. It is standing absent when heaven calls your name. I tell you, there are days that alter the trajectory of your entire life. Israel had such a day at the Red Sea. David had such a day on the battlefield with Goliath. The disciples had such a day in the upper room, and you, chosen ones, are now standing before such a day, September 25th. It is written, it is marked, it is decreed. The Spirit of the Lord is saying, be ready, be awake, be present, for this is not just about one blessing, this is about everything God has promised you. Man looks at time in weeks, months, and years. Man measures by the tick of a clock, the turning of a page, the ringing of a bell. But God does not measure time as man does. God's calendar is not written on your wall or stored in your phone. It is inscribed in eternity. The Almighty does not work according to man's routine. He works according to divine seasons. The Bible declares, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under heaven. Do you hear it, chosen ones? Every purpose has a time, every destiny has a moment, and every breakthrough has an appointed day. When God writes an appointment, no human hand can erase it. No demon in hell can cancel it, and no power on earth can stop it. But it is possible for man to miss it through ignorance, through carelessness, through unbelief. That is why heaven sounds the trumpet again and again, crying out, "Be awake, be ready, watch and pray." When we read the scriptures, we see that God has always worked by his calendar, not man's. Israel's exodus from Egypt was not random. It was timed to the very night. At midnight, the angel of death passed through, and only those who were aligned with God's instruction, with blood on their doorposts, were spared and set free. That was not man's calendar, that was heaven's calendar. Jesus himself came not early, not late, but right on heaven's clock. The word says, in the fullness of time, God sent forth his Son. What is fullness of time? It is God's calendar, fulfilled to the second, to the heartbeat, to the divine moment. Heaven knew the date, and all of eternity aligned. Chosen ones, this is what I declare to you. September 25th is written in such fullness. It is not a random day. It is the fullness of a time God has ordained for his chosen. Think of how dangerous it is to live only by man's calendar. Man says it is just another day. Man says it is routine, it is ordinary, it is common. But when heaven has marked the day, it is loaded with destiny. There are days when the ordinary disguises the extraordinary. Jacob lay down in the dust and thought it was an ordinary night, but heaven opened above him, and he saw the ladder with angels ascending and descending. That night was written on heaven's calendar, though Jacob only thought it was sleep. If he had not lain down, he would have missed the vision. If he had hurried away, he would have missed the visitation. Do you see it? What looks ordinary on man's calendar can be extraordinary on God's. September 25th may look like another date to the careless, but to the watchful, it is a day when ladders descend, when angels move, when heaven speaks. The tragedy of many is that they keep time by man's wristwatch, but miss heaven's hour. Jesus wept over Jerusalem and cried, "If you had known, even you, at least in this your day, the things which belong to your peace, but now they are hidden from your eyes." Why did he weep? Because they missed their day. They had an appointment on heaven's calendar, the visitation of the Messiah, and yet they were blind, distracted, preoccupied. Their day came and they missed it. Beloved, September 25th is such a day for you. And if you live only by man's calendar, by the natural, the routine, the ordinary, you risk walking past your own hour of visitation. God's calendar is always precise, always divine, always set. He told Noah exactly when the flood would come. He told Abraham the appointed time when Sarah would give birth. He told Israel when to blow the trumpets, when to march, when to rest, when to rise. God has never worked in randomness. He works in appointed times, and now he is announcing again, September 25th has been marked. The angels already know it. The Spirit already testifies of it. Heaven's scroll already carries it. The question is, will you live by heaven's calendar or by man's? Will you discern the time or ignore it? Beloved, God's calendar is the pulse of eternity beating into time. It is the rhythm of heaven invading earth. To align with it is to step into destiny. To resist it is to stumble into delay. September 25th is a date not just of man's making, but of heaven's design. It is written in golden fire, and those who walk in the Spirit will recognize it. Those who remain carnal, distracted, or asleep will call it just another day. But it will not be just another day. It is heaven's day, God's day, your day. And when God marks a day, nothing can remain the same. Chosen ones, hear this with urgency. September 25th is not just a page on the calendar. It is a day sealed with divine ink, a date written in the archives of heaven long before the foundations of the world were laid. There are moments in time that carry eternal weight, moments when heaven stoops low to touch the earth, moments when what was delayed suddenly accelerates, when what was locked suddenly opens, when what was barren suddenly gives birth. September 25th is one of those moments. It is not man who gave it meaning. It is God who marked it. It is not a superstition, not a coincidence, not a product of chance. It is a divine appointment, and heaven has already prepared what will unfold. Just as the Israelites had their Passover night, just as Pentecost was marked 50 days after the resurrection, so this date carries prophetic significance. Heaven has chosen it to release destiny, to shift atmospheres, to confirm promises that have seemed far away but are now at the door. Think about the power of appointed times. When the children of Israel marched around Jericho, the walls did not fall on day 1, nor day 2, nor day 3, but on the 7th day, the appointed day, when the trumpet sounded and the shout was released, the walls collapsed. What does that mean? It means there are days that heaven has set aside for victory. It means you can march, you can pray, you can believe. But when the appointed day comes, the breakthrough manifests in power. September 25th is such a day. It is not the 7th day of Jericho, but it carries the same spiritual principle. God has aligned his promises with his calendar, and if you are not present in obedience and faith, the walls will fall, but you will not be there to step into the city. That is why this warning is sounding like thunder across the earth. Do not take September 25th lightly. Consider also the story of the 10 virgins. They all had lamps. They all were waiting. They all believed in the bridegroom. But only half of them discerned the hour. Only half were prepared when the cry went out at midnight. What was the tragedy of the foolish? They missed the moment. They thought they had time. They thought the delay meant they could relax. And when the bridegroom came, the door was shut and it never opened again. This is the danger of treating appointed times as common. When heaven marks a day, there is no second chance, no postponement, no rescheduling. September 25th carries this kind of weight. It is the midnight cry of heaven. It is the day when the bridegroom draws near. To miss it is to stand outside the shut door, weeping while destiny passes by. The significance of this day is not only in the blessings it carries, but also in the judgment it holds for neglect. Do you remember when Jesus wept over Jerusalem? He said, "You did not recognize the time of your visitation." Oh, how tragic. God himself walked among them. Miracles flowed. Truth was spoken. Salvation was offered. But they treated it as common, as ordinary, as another day. And because they missed their day, destruction came. Chosen ones, September 25th is your time of visitation. It is your appointed hour. If you miss it, it will not be heaven's fault. It will not be God's failure. It will be your blindness, your distraction, your refusal to hear the trumpet. That is why the Spirit of the Lord cries so urgently, recognize the day, see the significance. Do not let the enemy whisper, it is nothing. No, it is everything. Why September 25? Because God has decreed it, because promises that have tarried are scheduled to manifest, because breakthroughs that have been resisted are about to be released, because assignments that have been delayed are about to be activated, because prayers that have been sown in tears are about to reap in joy. This is the time written on the scroll. This is the day when alignments are made, when heavens are opened, when angels are dispatched, when the Spirit of the Lord moves with precision. Do not ask why this date. Ask instead, are you ready for it? Are you prepared to step into it? Are you awake enough to see it? For on this day, heaven will not delay, God will not pause, eternity will not wait. September 25th is not just a date, it is destiny breaking into time. Chosen ones, if September 25th is a day of such weight, such glory, such breakthrough, then understand this: the enemy will not sit idle. Satan knows the calendar of God. He remembers the night of Passover when the blood on the doorpost silenced his hand. He remembers the day of Pentecost when the fire of the Holy Ghost turned timid fishermen into roaring lions of faith. He remembers the day the stone was rolled away and Jesus walked out of the tomb in resurrection power. The devil knows the cost of a missed appointment, and he will unleash every weapon in his arsenal to make you miss your day. His strategy is simple but deadly. If he cannot destroy you, he will distract you. If he cannot break you, he will busy you. If he cannot steal your faith outright, he will drown it in noise, confusion, and weariness until your heart grows dull. September 25th is not just a battle for your blessing, it is a battle for your attention. Understand how cunning this adversary is. The Bible says he comes as a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. But many times he does not roar with fearsome threats. He whispers with subtle lies. He tells you, it's just another day, nothing special. Don't take it too seriously. He tries to lull you into complacency, to make you treat holy things as common. He surrounds you with distractions, trivial matters, endless scrolling, useless arguments, petty offenses, all to drain your energy and cloud your spirit. If he can keep your eyes on the natural, he will blind you to the supernatural. If he can drown your ears with noise, he will keep you from hearing the trumpet of heaven. The devil fears your recognition of September 25th, for once you know the hour, he cannot stop the breakthrough. That is why he fights so fiercely to confuse you, to weary you, to tempt you. Do you not see his fingerprints everywhere? Why is it that the days leading to a divine visitation are often filled with strange battles? Why do sudden conflicts arise? Why do unexpected temptations flare? Why does heaviness settle on your spirit? It is not coincidence, it is strategy. Before Israel entered the promised land, giants rose up to intimidate them. Before Nehemiah rebuilt the walls, Sanballat and Tobiah mocked and schemed to weary him. Before Jesus stepped into ministry, the devil tempted him in the wilderness with distractions of appetite, ambition, and pride. This is always the enemy's method. He does not need to destroy you if he can delay you. He does not need to kill you if he can cause you to miss the moment. September 25 is such a moment, and hell is trembling at the thought of you being present. That is why the devil will use weariness. He will drain your strength with endless busyness so that on the appointed day you are too tired to lift your head. He will use temptation, throwing old sins in your path, stirring desires you thought were buried, trying to trap you at the last moment. He will use offense, provoking arguments, stirring bitterness, sowing division, because he knows a heart filled with anger cannot discern the gentle whisper of God. He will use fear, whispering worst-case scenarios, filling your mind with doubts, making you question whether God has really spoken about this day. And he will use procrastination, the deadly lie that says tomorrow is always there. No, chosen ones, tomorrow is not guaranteed. The devil loves to whisper later until later becomes never. Do not underestimate his craftiness. The enemy has studied humanity for thousands of years. He knows how to bait the trap, how to time the attack, how to cloak distraction in harmless disguise. He will not always come with a horn and a pitchfork. He may come as a friendly invitation that pulls you away from prayer, as a sudden distraction that eats your hours, as a heavy sleep that dulls your spirit. He knows you are chosen, and he knows you are close to breakthrough. That is why his warfare intensifies before appointed times. If he can keep you dull, you will walk past the open door without stepping in. If he can keep you blind, you will treat your day of visitation as ordinary. If he can keep you bound, you will watch others enter their promise while you remain on the outside. Chosen ones, recognize the strategy. The devil is terrified of you showing up ready on September 25th. He fears the moment you lift your voice in faith, the moment you step into obedience, the moment you seize your destiny. That is why he sends storms before the dawn. He is fighting not your past, but your future. He is not concerned with what you were. He trembles at what you are about to become. September 25th is written, it is sealed, it is coming, and Satan will do everything to keep you from it. But if you recognize his strategy, if you see his hand, you will not fall into his trap. Stay awake, stay vigilant, stay focused. For the enemy fears nothing more than a believer who shows up on the appointed day fully ready to receive. Chosen ones, when God marks a day on his calendar, it is not enough to simply know it. You must be positioned to enter it. Destiny is not seized by chance, it is seized by preparation. When heaven announces a visitation, those who are careless will watch it pass them by. But those who are ready will step into the flow of divine power. The Bible says, "Blessed is that servant whom his master will find so doing when he comes." Preparedness is the difference between blessing and loss. You do not stumble into the promises of God. You position yourself for them. And September 25 is not a date for the distracted or the casual. It is a date for the watchful, for those who have trimmed their lamps, for those who stand alert at the edge of breakthrough. How then must the chosen prepare? First, by prayer. Prayer is not a ritual, it is alignment. Prayer sharpens your spirit to discern the movements of heaven. Prayer clears away the dust of distraction and opens your inner ear to the whispers of the Spirit. Before Pentecost, the disciples positioned themselves in an upper room with prayer and expectation. They did not know the exact hour the fire would fall, but they knew the day was marked. And because they prayed, they were present when the wind filled the house. Beloved, September 25th is your upper room. Prepare it with prayer. Do not enter that day with a cold heart. Enter it with a heart burning on the altar, tuned to the frequency of heaven. Second, by consecration. This is the time to lay aside every weight, to throw off every entanglement, to cleanse your hands and purify your heart. When Israel was about to cross the Jordan, Joshua commanded the people, "Sanctify yourselves, for tomorrow the Lord will do wonders among you." Did you hear it? Sanctify yourselves, because the wonder is scheduled for tomorrow. Consecration is the price of visitation. If you are entangled in compromise, if your garments are stained with sin, you will not recognize the wonder when it comes. Chosen ones, the Lord is calling you to holiness before September 25th. He is saying, wash your robes, for the day of breakthrough is near. This is not the time to flirt with sin, not the time to entertain compromise, not the time to indulge the flesh. This is the time to consecrate yourself fully, because only the pure in heart shall see God. Third, by expectation. Faith is the currency of heaven. To position yourself for the promise, you must believe it is coming. The woman with the issue of blood pressed through the crowd because she believed, if I can touch him, I shall be made whole. Expectation gave her strength, it gave her focus, it gave her determination. On September 25th, your expectation will determine your reception. If you treat it as common, you will walk away empty-handed. But if you step into it with faith, you will draw virtue from heaven. Expectation turns a date into an encounter, a moment into a miracle. Do not wait passively. Lean forward in faith, saying, "This is my day of visitation, and I will not miss it." Fourth, by watchfulness. The Lord said, "Watch and pray, lest you enter into temptation." Watchfulness means staying alert to the Spirit, resisting the lull of weariness, refusing the fog of distraction. It means being awake when others are asleep, listening when others are deaf, watching when others are blind. On the night of Gethsemane, the disciples slept while Jesus travailed. They missed the hour of intercession because they were heavy with slumber. Chosen ones, do not let this be your story on September 25th. This is not the time to spiritually sleep. This is the time to keep watch. For the day of breakthrough approaches swiftly. Stay awake, stay sharp, stay ready. Finally, position yourself by obedience. When God speaks, move without delay. When he gives an instruction, follow without hesitation. Naaman dipped 7 times, not 6, not 5, because the promise was tied to obedience. The walls of Jericho fell after 7 marches, not 6, because the breakthrough was tied to obedience. September 25th is loaded with divine instructions. Some of you will be told to give, some to forgive, some to speak, some to be silent. The promise is not automatic. It is accessed through obedience. Position yourself as Abraham did, who rose early in the morning to follow the Lord's command. When God marks a day, he also gives directions, and only those who obey will receive the reward. Chosen ones, the positioning is clear: prayer, consecration, expectation, watchfulness, obedience. These are not suggestions, they are weapons. They are the oil in your lamp, the blood on your doorpost, the preparation of your upper room. September 25th is approaching, and heaven is asking, are you positioned? Are you ready? Will you be found awake on the day of visitation? Chosen ones, when the appointed day arrives, it is not enough to be aware of it, not enough to prepare for it. You must seize it. Breakthrough is not passive. It is an act of faith, a moment where you step boldly into what heaven has prepared. September 25th is not just a promise hanging in the air. It is a table already set, a door already opened, a destiny already written. But the door will not walk to you. You must step into it. The table will not serve itself. You must sit and eat. The promise will not chase you. You must lay hold of it with the grip of faith. When the heavens open, hesitation is the thief. Boldness is the key. That is why the Spirit cries out, "Seize the day, do not let it pass you by." Think of Israel standing before the Red Sea. God had already spoken. The rod was stretched out, the wind had blown, the path was open. But if Israel had stood still on the shore, staring at the miracle, debating its meaning, they would have drowned in delay. The sea opened not for speculation, but for movement. They had to walk through step by step between the walls of water into their freedom. Chosen ones, September 25th, will open such a sea before you, but you must move. Do not analyze until the moment is gone. Do not hesitate until the waters collapse. Step in, walk boldly, declaring, "This is my hour, this is my crossing, this is my breakthrough." Remember also the walls of Jericho. The people shouted with one voice and the walls fell flat. But imagine if they had whispered, if they had doubted, if they had stayed silent, the walls would still be standing. Breakthrough requires action, not passivity. On September 25th, the shout of faith must be in your mouth. The fire of boldness must be in your heart. Do not shrink back. Do not hold back. Do not draw back. Press forward with everything inside you. This is not the day to be timid. This is the day to roar in faith, to lift your voice, to seize your inheritance. Think also of blind Bartimaeus. Jesus was passing by. It was a marked moment, an appointed hour. Bartimaeus could have stayed silent, but instead he cried out, "Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me." And though the crowd tried to silence him, he shouted louder until the Lord stopped and called him. That cry seized the moment. That cry turned an ordinary road into a place of miracle. Chosen ones, September 25th will pass before you like Jesus walking by. Will you cry out or remain silent? Will you seize the moment or let the crowd quiet you? Those who seize the day will see miracles, but those who hesitate will watch the moment disappear in the dust. Seizing the day means stepping into it with faith-filled expectation, with aggressive obedience, with unstoppable determination. It means lifting your eyes from the natural and locking them on the supernatural. It means saying, "Today is not like other days. This is the day the Lord has made for my destiny, and I will rejoice in it. I will step into it. I will claim it." You must treat September 25 as holy ground, as the moment when heaven touches earth. Like Joshua before Jericho, you must march. Like Elijah on Mount Carmel, you must call down fire. Like Peter stepping out of the boat, you must take the risk and walk on water. Breakthrough belongs to the bold. The promise belongs to the active. The inheritance belongs to those who seize it. Chosen ones, destiny never bows to the hesitant. It responds to faith that dares, faith that moves, faith that acts. On September 25th, do not stand idle. Do not wait for another sign. Heaven's sign has already been given. The trumpet has sounded. The hour has struck. The door is open. Now is the time to act. Now is the time to rise. Now is the time to seize the breakthrough. Heaven will not reward hesitation. It will crown bold faith. Lift your head, lift your hands, lift your heart. This is your day to seize. Chosen ones, the trumpet of heaven is sounding and the Spirit of the Lord is roaring like a lion. September 25th is not a date you can afford to treat lightly. This is not a suggestion, not a casual reminder, not a motivational phrase. This is a summons from the throne room of God. The King has set the table. The feast is prepared. The inheritance is laid out. Heaven has already signed it. Angels are already standing ready. The scroll is already unsealed. The question is not whether God will do it. The question is whether you will show up. On that day, some will be awake and alert, standing in the place of obedience, stepping into a visitation that will mark them forever. Others will slumber, distracted by the cares of life, and they will watch the moment pass, never to return. What will it be for you? Will you be counted among the present or among the absent? September 25 is not just another sunrise, it is a dividing line. It will separate those who walk by the Spirit from those who stumble in the flesh. It will reveal the vigilant and expose the careless. It will crown the watchful and bypass the distracted. This is the kind of day that shifts families, opens wombs, restores promises, and activates destinies. But it is also the kind of day that, if missed, can leave a soul wandering in circles for years. Do not say, another time. Do not whisper another chance. There are appointments with God that do not repeat, and September 25th carries that weight. Heaven will be open, but will you be under the open heaven or standing outside the gate? I speak with fire in my bones. Hell fears this day. The kingdom of darkness knows what is coming, and that is why the battle around you has intensified. That is why temptations have multiplied, why distractions have increased, why heaviness has settled. The enemy wants you weary, confused, and absent on the day of breakthrough. But heaven is calling, awake, awake, put on your strength. You must shake off the dust, break free from distraction, and stand ready for the moment of destiny. For when the King arrives, there will be no time to prepare. The oil must already be in your lamp. The blood must already be on your doorpost. The faith must already be alive in your spirit. This is not the hour to be passive. It is the hour to be violent in faith, determined in spirit, unshakable in resolve. Chosen ones, imagine the sound of the trumpet on that day. Imagine the heavens parting. Imagine the hand of God stretching forth. Imagine the promises you prayed for, fasted for, wept for, suddenly breaking open before your eyes. Imagine the chains falling, the doors swinging wide, the inheritance being placed into your hands. Now imagine missing it. Imagine the trumpet sounding and you asleep. Imagine the door opening and you absent. Imagine the King calling your name and you distracted. Imagine heaven's appointed moment passing you by while angels mark you absent. That is the weight of September 25. This is why the warning comes like thunder. This is why the call comes like fire. You cannot miss it. You dare not miss it. This is the final cry before the day dawns. Stand up, rise, be ready. September 25th is the day of your visitation, the hour of your destiny, the gate of your inheritance. God has prepared it. Heaven has marked it. Eternity has written it. Now the choice stands before you. Will you enter or will you forfeit? Will you seize or will you slip? Will you stand awake or will you be found asleep? The trumpet is sounding. The heavens are watching. The earth is trembling, and your answer will not be spoken with lips only. It will be written in your actions, in your readiness, in your obedience. The Spirit of the Lord has declared the day. The weight of eternity rests upon it. September 25 is coming. Your response will echo forever.